All right, so we are live and ready to talk some NFL on the OFN Insiders. This is our inaugural show that we've been teasing for the last few months on the Our Lads Football Network at ourlads.com. And joining me for the very first show, I guess this is to my left. No, it's to my right. How does this work? Anyway, Rashad Beard from Panther Nation podcast and Jeff Risdon from the Detroit Lion podcast. Guys, thanks for doing this.
Great to be with you, man. Thanks for having us. I feel special, Rashad. We're the first guys here. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's always good to be the trailblazer. All right, let's make it happen.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do on this show is we're going to talk about all the latest headlines in the NFL. And of course, we'll also, since this is week one, the season hasn't started yet. So we will talk about, we'll get their predictions, both Jeff and Rashad. This is not, since these guys have individual teams they cover, this is not necessarily going to be a Detroit, Carolina podcast. Obviously, we've got one specific topic that does concern the Panthers, and that's Brian Burns and his potential holdout. So Rashad has some expertise and inside information on that. But other than that, it's going to be NFL centric. And we're going to talk, we're going to get, again, the predictions on the season as far as Super Bowl predictions, sleepers, and things of that nature. We're going to go over a lot of the news that's, leading the headlines in the NFL. So let's get right to it. And I guess the first thing, we were talking about this off the air. I want to kind of get this out of the way because this isn't really sports, but it is important to sports fans, and that is what's going on with ESPN and Spectrum. And I'm a Spectrum provider. I'm somebody that has it, so I'm in trouble. But I was just talking off the air with you guys and asking your opinion on what I should do as far as if there's a better option out there. And I think there is. I just have to spend a little bit of time, especially with the Buffalo game coming up on Monday night. It's an ESPN ABC broadcast. Now, the one thing that that was not blacked out so far were the ESPN ABC broadcasts. I was actually be able to watch the ABC ESPN broadcasts. But should I take a chance on it happening for the Monday Night Football game, considering how big it is? I don't think so, because then I'd have to spend 5 minutes, or I'd have to be on the ready to order a package like Hulu or something like that. Like if it's blacked out in my area. So I think I'm going to probably have to figure out where to go. So before I get into the whole logistics of what's going on with those two companies, Rashad, you said you had Hulu?
Yeah, I'm a streamer. I stream everything. Last time I had cable, traditional cable was like 7-8 years ago. So I've been using Hulu for a long time now. And yeah, if they fail, I just go to another stream. I'll go YouTube TV. I'll go to anybody that's available out there. So I'm not tied to a particular provider. I also, to combine with the with the streaming service, I do have an over-the-air antenna. So I catch all the local games and stuff for free. So okay. It's an easy way to get it done. So yeah.
All right. And but you don't watch. This is mainly for sports, though. You're not an avid TV watcher, like TV shows.
Yeah. I'm not a huge TV guy, but I have that available to me. Hulu has a live TV service that I do pay for. That's $60. It's live TV. I can watch traditional cable channels. It's just on a Fire TV or a Fire Stick or a Roku TV. It's perfect. It's great. It's great.
You see, the other thing with me, and I don't know who your internet provider is, but mine is Spectrum.
AT&T.
So yours is AT&T. Okay, Jeff, who do you have?
I have Spectrum for internet, and we used to do the bundle, and we separated off. I'm like Rashad. I stream. We have all of our TVs have Roku boxes. We have YouTube TV in our house. I don't watch much TV outside of sports and weather and Expedition Unknown. I'm a big Josh Gates junkie.
Probably don't have time.
That's all I really watch.
Yeah.
So, but my wife is she's got TV on all the time, and she seems to like it, and it's been cheaper, and it hasn't affected our internet. Again, we have Spectrum for internet. That's really all we can get, unfortunately, where I live. So
yeah,
there's pluses and minuses to it, but and I'm like Rashad. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, so I don't necessarily live in Detroit, but we do get like I can watch Lions games. I can watch over-the-air TV, my local channels, Fox, ABC, NBC, and CBS with an antenna, and that was easy, and it works well. You just have to you got to get comfortable with the remotes because you're switching back and forth like your sources a lot, but beyond that, it works pretty good.
I have another option for you. You can become a Panthers fan, get an over-the-air antenna, and then there you go, problem solved. You don't have to worry about blackouts. You can just watch Panthers all the time for free with your over-the-air antenna. Problem solved.
I like it.
There you go.
I don't know if Jeff will do that right now. That would be the worst possible time for him to ditch his Detroit Lions. That's for sure.
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you with the Jets. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I am. But then again, it's the same. I'd answer it the same way. It is the worst possible time for me to be dishing on the New York Jets. That's for sure. Okay. But, that's the thing is that I have Spectrum Internet. So I think they were charging me about $100, $70 to $100 for my internet. What do you get charged, Jeff, for internet?
I think it's $74.99.
Same thing. Okay. So
yeah.
Somewhere around
so
there.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and it's good. I will give Spectrum credit. My internet, other than like peak demand times, I live in kind of a crowded neighborhood where we all have to use it. Other than from like 8 to 10 p.m., it's nice, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have fiber, and so I pay I think I pay $8.80 a month, and I have no problem. The highest available. Give me the highest. I have a big pipe. I stream everything. It's worked great.
Okay, so that's the thing, because if I'm getting charged around 75 to 100 on internet, and my total is 200, that was why I was getting a good deal, because I was only being charged about $100 for everything. Where normal people, I think, on Spectrum were getting charged almost twice that. So I got this really good deal. That's why I went with it. But yeah, now it's becoming obviously a hassle. The only thing is I never see these disputes last very long. I don't know. I always, because even this happened on DirecTV a lot. If you guys know, Rashad, you had DirecTV.
Yep.
You know how many times they used to have those warnings, this is happening. And then it would last like a week or two. And then they'd come together. And then, so I don't want to switch everything. And then all of a sudden, everything's back to normal. And I'm not saying I probably couldn't get a better deal. Maybe I would. But it's a lot of work, and I spent like about 20 hours on the phone with the first deal. It was so bad, it was so hectic, but that's why I think I got the great deals, because it was so aggravating and people were making mistakes. So like I had to speak to like the fifth manager, and then they saw the mistakes that were being made, and they gave me this great deal. So it worked out, but I spent like 20 hours on the phone trying to get going from DirecTV to Spectrum. So I probably wait a little bit, but I probably won't wait too long. Anyway, I'm not surprised, are you, that this is happening? I know ABC is going to come out and give their side of what's going on, but I'm not going to get into the politics of it. But right now, Disney is not doing well. Everybody knows it. And
negotiating in public never works. It doesn't work for NFL players very well, and it doesn't work for the communications companies either.
Yeah. So, I'm not surprised this happened. So, Disney their stock has gone down the drain. So the fact that this has come up leads me to believe that it's maybe on their end, that maybe they're looking for a little bit, how do we make up the losses? So let's try to play hardball maybe. Again, I'm not going to get into it, but that's just my perception. All right, let's not talk business. Let's talk football. And I tell you what, let's start with the first holdout, or the first player regarding a holdout, since we have an insider here regarding that player and the team, Brian Burns. Now, this is something I wasn't even aware of until the last 24, 48 hours. I mean, I'm so busy with everything else. And then I was like, okay, I know there are a couple of guys holding out, Bosa and Jones. And then I looked and I went, wait a second, Brian Burns maybe holding? I didn't know that. I didn't know there was an issue, because there wasn't really too much of an issue, I believe. I know we talked a little bit about it, Rashad, when we last spoke, but I didn't think that this was, we didn't think that this was going to be coming to this, right?
Yeah, he did a great job over training camp, kind of saying, hey, I'm a team first guy.
Yeah.
So he knew about, obviously he's watching Bosa. This is it's it's supply and demand here, right? We're waiting on the Bosa contract to drop so I can then get my number from that number. That's what's happening. Both of those guys are waiting on each other to sign that deal, because whatever Burns signs, that's the baseline. Bosa's obviously going to get a bigger deal than Burns is, but they're waiting on each other. And so I don't know what Scott Fitter and company are doing. Brian Burns has handled this great so far until Monday, where he missed a couple of practices. I'm taking these personal days off. And so if you would ask me, and we talked about, I believe, a month or so ago, hey, do you think the deal's going to get done? Oh, yeah, no worries. It's going to get done.
Yeah.
I have no worries. But now we're getting closer to week 1, and it's like, okay, there's still nothing done. He's going to end up having to play on the 5th-year option thing here. And so I hope they get a deal done by Sunday, but it appears that they're pretty far apart based on the numbers that I see. And I know that, Bosa is trying to get $30 million. And listen, with the Panthers, we're not paying anybody else, right? We have a lot of cap space.
Okay.
We have a rookie, Brian Burns on a rookie deal, right? So if you're gonna pay the man at the end of the day. You have to pay Brian Burns. Our pass rush will be non-existent without him. You need him. He's going to be a 15-sack guy going into his natural position of 3-4. So he's going to be dominant. Pay him. In the store, I don't care what it is. Just pay him. Because whatever you pay him now, down the road, it's going to look like a steal 2 or 3 years down the road. Get it done, bite the bullet, and call it
a day. Have the Lions had any of these issues lately, as far as you can recall? I haven't remembered any. And I know
we're a year behind that. We're going to have that next year.
Okay.
Penei Sewell needs to get paid. Amon-Ra St. Brown needs to get paid. Jared Goff's going to need to get paid again. So that we're a year out from that yet. We're hopeful that all those guys deserve and wind up being deserving of all that kind of money. With Burns, it's interesting to me that and Burns and Bosa going back and forth, the teams probably want to be the first one to get it done, and the player probably wants to be the second one to get it done. And I wonder how that plays out, because what you're saying is that they're not close with Burns, and it doesn't sound like Bosa's close either. And I wonder which shoe's gonna drop first there, because it does matter. If you're the player, you don't want to be the first guy, you want to be the second guy. But if you're the team, you want to be the first team and not the second team. It's kind of a weird negotiating point.
Tell you what, I'm going to pop on. I'm going to let our viewers see what we're going to be talking about here. We might have a little bit of a delay. So Rashad and Jeff just realized that we might have a delay now that I'm going to be using some graphics here to go over, because one of them that I want to pop up here, actually a few of them, I'm going to start taking a look at your individual pages. First of all, let me take a look at let's take a look at the Panther Nation podcast one. There it is right there on the screen. Let me make sure it's not blocking anybody out. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let me put it over there. No, let me put it over there. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, this is better, center square. Okay.
Looks like some good metrics up there. I like that. I like green.
Oh, yeah, right? Excellent. So this is the Panther Nation podcast. So this is your channel, and this is the Brian Burns. So this is coming up. This is something that you've already recorded and is going to be available later tonight. Rashad?
No, we're going live this evening to discuss.
Live?
Yeah, we're going live this evening to discuss.
Okay. And how many times do you do live shows?
8 o'clock. I go live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. with my co-host Dave.
Okay, so you guys are only live Tuesdays, and does that mean that you're not live the rest of the week? And if that's the case, how many other shows do you do a week?
Yeah, so Dave does his fantasy hour. That's on Monday nights, 8 o'clock. We also are trying to get some preview shows done. So we'll preview the games probably on Friday nights. Either we'll record it and drop it Friday night, or we'll go live on Fridays. Just depends on folks' schedules. So yeah, and then anytime there's breaking news or anything like that, if I'm available, I hop on live. So it's very imperative. if you are a Panthers fan, that you hit the notification bell because we go live all the time if there's breaking news.
That's it. Just like this show.
Yeah, I like that.
Live.
Hold that right there. Hold that right there, because that's the highlight of my life right there. And shout out to, I got his shirt on right here. We did the show with Steve Smith Sr. Again, my favorite Panther of all time. We got a chance to sit down with them, so that was great. That's a great one.
There he is. Yeah, that must have been
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's now check out Detroit Lions podcast. I love the fact that we talked about this before too. I love the fact that you get to use Detroit Lions podcast as your YouTube URL.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this, Jeff? Again?
Yeah. I've been doing that for 4 years. The podcast started in 2016. I came on in full time at 2019 season, I want to say. So yeah, it's fun. We went live last night because we're playing Thursday night, and normally we go live on Wednesday nights, but with playing Thursday night football and being prime time, we had to accelerate things up a little bit. So
okay.
My co-host Chris and I, we did it on a holiday evening, and it was fun. It was a good time.
Yes, live shows can be, they're a little bit more stressful to put them together, but they are fun, especially when you can interact with the audience. And that's what our hope is here. This is just the beginning. It's going to take some time for us to build our live audience. But like, for instance, I did the Rutgers show on the Rutgers football channel. Richie is, as far as the social media within the Rivals and Rutgers community, they built that up big time. And so we got a good showing on there. And by the way, I see that now, is this because you subscribe to my channel? Is that why this is up here on your channel? Do you think, Jeff? Do you know?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
Of course we subscribe.
You better be subscribed. You better subscribe. It's on your channel too, Rashad?
That's
you
right.
better be subscribed.
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
It probably is if you're subscribed. Yeah, I just haven't seen it. That's
okay. So we get. It's weird when you do a Google search for Detroit Lions podcast, because that is our actual name.
Yes.
And our URL. But when you search it, you get a lot of other things that come in with it too. So make sure you go into the actual DLP.
Okay, got it. All right, now. I want to remind everybody too, since this is a live show, as we were talking about, there are several ways that several ways that you can contribute to the show, especially during the live chats, and then for live broadcasts only. So the button is on the right of the comment box. Use the cash symbol in the chat window. You can donate anywhere from $1 to $5 to $10, whatever you want to do. The more you pay, the longer the comment stays pinned to the top of the chat board. Super thanks, by the way, is for live and on demand. So let's say you're watching this show on demand. You didn't get a chance to watch it live. You can still donate to the channel by clicking the super thanks button. Same thing. By the way, it's the icon is next to the share button below the player, the YouTube player. Same thing. Donate whatever you want, and you give whatever message you want. Super stickers, by the way, is sort of like super chat. You just get a little bit more animated with what you're presenting. So I just want to let everybody know that as well. And obviously, please subscribe, share, not only to this channel and this show, but also, of course, to Panther Nation podcast and the Detroit Lions podcast. Okay, so let's talk. I tell you what, let's continue this discussion on Bosa and Jones, because Burns, I think we all agree, and Rashad, I think what you're saying is you believe that if Bosa signs a deal today, that Burns will probably sign the deal tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay. So what do you guys think about the Bosa, from what you guys have heard about the Bosa deal? Same thing. I mean, again, we're not San Francisco fans. We're not insiders, but I understand where Bosa's coming from. I mean, his brother had the injury situation last year. You got to try to get as much as you can whenever you can. And San Francisco really can't live without Bosa if they're dreaming of a Super Bowl. So are you surprised about this holdout at all, Jeff?
Not really. And I think you brought up the key point there, is that he's had injury issues of his own going back. His brother has had that, and it's impacted his ability. Like, I get why he wants to get his money completely. Now, the big question is do they think that they can survive without him? And Greg, I'm with you, man. I don't think they can. I think they know that he's kind of the catalyst for everything that they want to do defensively, kind of the way Burns is for Carolina. And if you've got the aspirations that the 49ers have or expect to have for their team, you got to have that guy in there. And there's a leverage point there, and there's a negotiating point there. And I think that one of the things about the Bosa's, and this could actually get used against him, they love football. They live and breathe football. And like not being out there with your guys, like that's gonna kill them. You know, that's I hope that doesn't get used against them, that they're football lifers like that. But I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like they're that close from what I understand. Like the 49ers are treating him like he's, Myles Garrett is the benchmark, $25 million a year.
Okay.
And everybody wants to get more than that now because Myles signed that, I think, 3 years ago. And is he better than Myles Garrett? He's close. Like, does that mean you get paid more? Yeah, because that's where your contract's up. So I don't know, man.
What do you think?
It's tough to say where they're going to come at that, but getting $30 million a year, that's asking a lot.
What do you guys think about that, though, as rookies? Generally, you're on your rookie contract, and it is what it is. If it's up to the team, if the team wants to go ahead and give you and sign a new big deal before your rookie contract is over, well, they have every right to do that. And you also have, and of course, we all know the situation. You can get franchise tag, and nobody wants to get tagged. So what do you think, Rashad? Do you think that's fair for the NFL, or you just see both sides of the fence? That, hey, you know what, the player looks at it his way, especially when you're a superstar.
Yeah, well, I'm with the players, man. I think the teams are going to use you up and spit you out. You have to lock in as much money as you can as soon as you can, right? The quicker you can get to that second deal, and if they hold out, so be it. I'm like, it sucks, for Brian Burns. That's my team. Like, I want to see him out there, but I completely understand. You have to let these guys get their money. And just to go back, I would say that Bosa's baseline is going to be TJ Watt's deal. TJ Watt's getting paid $28 million per year. So I would say that he's going to be, that's the baseline for him. I think Watt is looking for, Bosa's looking for a $30 million record-setting deal. Like, I think that's what he's looking for. And I think Brian Burns is going to be looking close to that. And I'm going to be honest, based on what Carolina was talking about, I mean, these guys were like in the high teens. That's why I think they're so far apart. In that if Bosa signs a 30-year deal, Burns is going to be looking for at least 25. I mean, I think that has to be the baseline for him. And can we afford it? Absolutely. Depending on the contract structure, we have, I think, like the second or third most cap space in the league right now. We can afford it. It's not like we're broke. We can handle it. But I don't know what we're going to do. We have to sign him. Right, same with the 49ers. They're so big, so much of a big part of their defense. You have to sign them. You have to bite the bullet and get it done. I mean, can you look some other places to save some money? Probably, but with these two guys, you just can't do it.
Out of the three guys, which player is more important to his team? Chris Jones, Nick Bosa, or Brian Burns? First, Jeff?
I think Burns is, just because the Panthers, no offense, Rashad, they don't have a lot else around him compared to what the other teams do.
Rashad?
That is a great question. That's a great question. I would say Bosa, man, because they're so close. Like you said, and I take no offense to that. Like, the Panthers are far away. Even with Burns, with or without Burns, we're still gonna be a mid-tier team. I would say our ceiling is like a borderline playoff team. The 49ers are right there. Like, they're knocking on the door the past couple of years of making a Super Bowl. You need Bosa. You have to have Bosa. So I would say it's tough because Chris Jones is so great too. But if I had to rank them, I would probably say Bosa, Jones, and then Burns, just because they're so close.
That's fair. I would. The thing is with Jones is he's been really good for a while, and then last year he just went crazy. Was it 15.5 sacks? I think it was 31 plays behind the line of scrimmage, and he had never come close to that before. And I think that's where the flex point is with Kansas City and Jones is that, okay, you've been pretty good, and then last year you took a giant step. And can you do that again? He's a little bit older. This isn't his first or second contract. Like, he's playing for his third contract. I think that dynamic is different. And that's actually why I think that holdout might last longer, because this could very well be his last chance to get a big deal.
Yes.
And I think that's that much more important. Like Burns, Bosa, they're younger.
Yeah.
They're going to get at least one more big contract, if not two, or maybe even three, depending on how long they sign for. I think with Chris Jones, I think he knows, like, is the team going to give a 32-year-old defensive tackle, $40 million when the cap keeps going? Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's why I think that he's more deep set in, and why I think his holdout will last longer than the other two.
And that is a great point.
And what's also interesting is that the Chiefs, they've got their 2 Super Bowls. San Francisco hasn't had one with this group. Not obviously, neither has Carolina. So they've got the younger players. They're trying to reach a Super Bowl. So if you're in Kansas City's management position, you almost can see their position too. Well, we've got our 2 Super Bowls. Should we now start to overpay older players? Patriots certainly didn't do that. That's never what the Patriots model was. Patriots model was always, anybody ever got to that last contract and they were in their 30s, bye-bye. And the Patriots never missed them. They always just found a way because they had Brady and Belichick. But the Chiefs have Mahomes and Reed. And I think they should be thinking the same thing. I really do. As great as a player Chris Jones is, and as important as a player as he is to that defense, because I think if they don't have Chris Jones, I don't think the Chiefs win a Super Bowl. I even think it's going to be hard for them to win a Super Bowl anyway, because they just won one, let alone to go back again and expect him to do it without Chris Jones. So I think that one could actually get ugly. I would be surprised if Kansas City gave Chris Jones what he wanted. All right, so
you got the depth chart up there. It's kind of startling to see Chris Jones not on there and what they're filling in around him with that. Like Derek Nottie can play. Like, he's a good player. I like Neil Farrell. I think that was a good acquisition for him. Keandre Coburn looked great at the combine when I saw him in Indianapolis, but they're not combined Chris Jones.
No,
that's a big
drop off.
And I say that as somebody whose team is playing Kansas City Thursday night. And I hold out at least through this week, Chris, and then come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's too late. He ain't playing. And here's Carolina's defense. Of course, this is on ourlads.com, and you can see the situation there. If Brian Burns does not play, of course, he's still there. But if he doesn't, look.
Young. Wow.
If you look at
it ain't pretty, especially if you consider what Marquise Haynes just went to IR. He was supposed to be the guy opposite of Brian Burns. Before we signed Justin Houston. So it's gonna be without him. I mean, you're leaning on guys like Amari Barno, and you have to start to tweak things up. Yetur Gross-Matos, you know how I feel about him. He's just underwhelming. And then you got DJ Johnson, we just drafted, who's not there yet. No. So it's gonna be pretty bad without him. Without Brian Burns, and it's looked bad in the preseason. So without him, it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be a nightmare.
And of course, Justin Houston, I bet you he wouldn't have signed here if Brian Burns would hold out the season or something. Not that that's going to happen, but he all of a sudden becomes the top pass rusher on the team.
Yeah. So with Burns, though, I think he's already he's showing his cards already. I think he's going to play just because during training camp he said, "Man, I'm a team guy." I think so. This is my opinion. I think he's going to play because he's already during training camp, he's already said, "Hey, man, I'm a team first guy. I need to play. I'm gonna be there with my guys." Shaq Thompson has come out and said the same thing, so he expects him to play. He actually expects to see a deal get done. Shaq Thompson does, but I think whether the deal gets done or not, I think you're going to see Brian Burns play, just because he knows his importance to the team, and I think because Jeff, like you just said, we're such a young team. Think about that message that sends to other people, the young guys on the roster. So I think he's going to play. That's just my opinion. But hey, you never know, man. Okay. You never know.
And the Niners here, yeah, not good. I mean, they need Drake Jackson, obviously, at some point to take a big step anyway. But it's not good. So they lose Bosa for any length of time. That might cost him, especially if he's out for, let's say, a few weeks, a month, that kind of thing, which, again, I doubt is going to be the case. But if it does, and Seattle gets off to a good start, then we might have competition in the NFC West. Of course, it's a two-team race, but Seattle, I think, is going to be better than people think.
Seattle's a good football team. They might be good enough to win that even with Bosa coming back. We'll see. I like what the Seahawks got.
And then the Colts, let's talk about Jonathan Taylor's situation. Not only that, but Anthony Richardson being named a starter so quickly. This has just got mess written all over it. And it starts at the top with their owner and wanting to get the kid out there and sell tickets. And I mean, I look, fingers crossed that it works out because the league needs exciting young quarterbacks. But they don't work out. They just don't. These things do not work out for kids that have no experience in college football. And their experience is erratic. The combination of like barely a year as a starter, a little year and a half, and barely over 50% completion percentage, and you're just going to throw him out there week one as an NFL starter. I mean, that's going to work. So now you don't have Jonathan Taylor as well, at least for a while. Now, I don't think Taylor's going to be on the Colts. I think by the time he comes back, he's going to get traded. What do you guys think?
And I don't see how he can come back. He's on PUP, so he's out for the first 4 weeks. Trade deadline's Halloween, so he'll be back for 2 weeks maybe. Sit that out. Like, I don't think he's going to play. I think they'll wind up having to bite the bullet and trade him. But
yeah,
where's the market going to be when you've got if you look at the available free agents right now, like most of the guys that the normal fan has heard of are running backs that are out there. Like, there's just not demand for the running back. Jonathan Taylor, he's a special player, but man, it's going to be tough for him to get what he wants, because and with the Colts, you can be 4-13 with him or without him. I think that's kind of what they're destined for.
I agree, Jeff. That's right, man. That's what it boils down to. Like, teams saw what the Carolina Panthers did with Christian McCaffrey. We love Christian McCaffrey, and we've seen this before. You're gonna pay this man all this money, and at the end of the day, the running back position just does not contribute to victories. You have to have your quarterback, and as great as a player he is, he has to be on the right team, right? Christian McCaffrey going out to San Francisco, I think that was the best possible scenario for him. Going out to that talented team was the best possible scenario for the 49ers. They get him on a little bit cheaper of a deal because we had to pay the bonuses. So listen, the running backs, it just sucks at the end of the day. You're a running back there, you're going to get chewed up and spit out. I don't know how they're going to fix that. I know they had their little meetings and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, the running back position just does not contribute to winning. You have to look at the running backs in the past, 4, 5, 6, 7 Super Bowls. You have to have the quarterback. Doesn't matter who the running back is. You can go and get Joe Schmo off the streets and have a committee of running backs, and you're going to be fine. It makes no sense to pay a running back $15, $20 million per year. Just doesn't make sense. So I see it from the Colts perspective because, like Jeff said, they can be 4-13 with him. They can be 4-13 without him. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter what his numbers look like individually, just because you give them the football 50 times a game, he's going to put up statistics, right? And we went through the same thing with Christian McCaffrey. So every team is seeing that, and they're taking note.
These are the two guys that are still out there, Fournette and Hunt. So
yeah,
you would think at some point they're going to get signed. They're just waiting for an injury now. They're waiting for a potential playoff team that has an injury at that position, and they need an upgrade, and then they'll sign somewhere. Because they're not going to sign at this point with a team that's not going anywhere.
It's not a bad place to be, by the way, getting to pick where you want to go when a team's desperate.
Yep.
That's how you get leverage as a running back.
Who would you rather have, Jeff, Fournette or Hunt?
I like Kareem Hunt because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can block. He's used to also being like he was behind Nick Chubb, and like Nick Chubb's really, really good. And I think that Kareem Hunt understands the team dynamic of I can come in, I don't necessarily have to be the guy, and I can still contribute. And Fournette kind of had that too, but I don't think it went as well for him. So I would go with, and I also think that just Kareem Hunt. At this point in their careers, I think he's probably a little bit better of a back. He's certainly more versatile. So I would go with him there.
You agree, Rashad?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would take Kareem Hunt over Fournette. Fournette is he, I don't know. He looks a little. I've seen him in NFC South. You know what I mean? I just don't know that he. I don't know if he's still got the juice, man. So I'm going with Hunt for sure.
All right. Let's now talk about predictions and games. So let's first of all, I didn't get any of this information before we went on the air, so I'll be finding out for the first time what you guys think. Did you guys just make predictions, by the way? Jeff, when you made your predictions for the playoffs, you know, all that kind of stuff, did that occur recently, or did you make up your mind like a few weeks ago?
So we did what we think the Lions are going to do, and we did like offense, defense, like how the Lions will fare with those. But we didn't do like league wide. We did do the NFC North just because that's a big topic with, you know, we do around the division every week, and it's always fun to root against the Packers and the Bears. Okay. Vikings. We got kind of a detente going with the Vikings fan base, so we're good there. But it's always for us. It's weird. We've never been front runners before. Like the Lions,
yes,
to my knowledge, have not been favored to win the division in years.
Yeah,
years. I mean, we've won one playoff game in my lifetime. I'm 50, so like it's a strange place to be. So yeah, we're talking a little bit more about. The expectations that we've got. It's kind of
absolutely
nice. It's kind of scary, but it's kind of nice too.
It is. It's both of them, but you just got to enjoy it. And just imagine again, Detroit fan base going through with the Jet fan bases, but just imagine doing it in New York. So both these teams are under a lot of pressure for something that they haven't accomplished yet. That they've never accomplished really with these groups, with this management, you know, the coaches and the players that are here with these specific teams. So that's the thing that they have to get over. And Detroit's 22-1 to win the Super Bowl. The Jets are 16-1. And your Panthers, by the way, we did a NFL preview show with Mark Lawrence of Playbook Sports and Ryan Dunleavy, the beat writer for the New York Post. And Ryan Dunleavy, I asked them the same thing I asked you guys to give a Super Bowl and playoff sleeper. And Ryan Dunleavy's playoff sleeper was the one and only Carolina Panthers at 80-1, Rashad. So,
yeah, I think we could definitely sleep and kind of slide our way into the playoffs. I think it's going to be a little bit as things start to develop and we start to see more, I think it's going to be a little bit rougher than anticipated first year. But we have not seen our entire, like we haven't seen Brian Burns yet play a snap on in this new scheme. We haven't seen our full offense. We haven't seen Miles Sanders yet. So there's a lot of things we haven't seen. So for me to confidently say that, I can't say that we're going to be a playoff team yet. I just can't do it.
Well, division though, that's going to take into account. Even though the Saints, I think people are getting a little bit too crazy on the Saints, in my opinion. I understand why they're picking the Saints to win the division. They probably should be the favorite to win the division, but I mean, even I think it was, who was it? I don't know if it was Mark. No, I think it was Ryan who had the Saints as a Super Bowl sleeper at 30-1. Now maybe he had the same idea about the South, but for the Saints to be 30-1 to win the Super Bowl, I'm just not seeing it. I honestly don't think they're all that much better. I think they are, but not much better than any of the other teams in that division. I think that division is completely
look at the tier that they're in too. So they're the same as the Seahawks and the Jaguars. Like I'm taking those two teams all day over New Orleans.
Yes,
like not even a hesitation.
I agree there.
Yeah, so
they shouldn't be that high. I think the Saints. I do think the Saints have gotten better. Derek Carr, you put him in there, more experience, right, than what they had previously. But that defense is aging a little bit. With Cam, he's losing a step. Not sure if he's there, and he's the linchpin to that defense. He goes, the defense goes as he goes. So with him aging and getting older, I think that defense will start to take a step back, and that's what they've been leaning on for the past couple of years. That defense has been really good. So again, I think they do have what it takes to win the division. Our division is not that great. I think it's better than what it was last year. Every team has improved, with the exception of the Bucs, right? Every team has gotten better. But I don't think that they can, I think they're going to go past. They're not going to play 2 games in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So, all right. Let's start off with your sleepers. Give me your playoff sleeper, Jeff. And these are sleepers, by the way, based on odds. So you have to be at that 30-1 mark or higher. Could be any team, 100-1, 150-1, 30-1 or higher. Who's your playoff sleeper? Actually, Super Bowl sleeper. That would be the odds at 30-1.
So I'm looking at that. Yeah. I mean, I think Jacksonville and Seattle are both comfortable playoff teams, and they're like right at 30-1. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are interesting to me because if Kenny Pickett is what Pittsburgh media and fans have been screaming at us all offseason, if he's what they think he is, that's a good football team.
That's my Super Bowl sleeper.
They got talent. Now the thing is that there's a team right above them, the Cleveland Browns. If Cleveland plays to its potential, they're winning the AFC North. But can you trust that? I don't. They're good. I think Myles Garrett could get the single season sack record this year, and that still might not be enough to get them in the playoffs. So I would go with the Pittsburgh Steelers on my playoff sleeper there because I think they got a shot. I think that we're all collectively overvaluing, and I say this about the Cincinnati Bengals because they're a great team. I think they're vulnerable. I'll put it that way. And I'm not sure that Baltimore is the same Baltimore team that we've come to know and respect and pencil into the playoffs every year. They could be. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they are, but I think Pittsburgh's got upward mobility there.
Oh, it's a very tough division. Another tough division, the North. Maybe even underrated tough. That I think Pittsburgh is a very good Super Bowl sleeper. 50-1. I mean, Cleveland's 35-1, and I don't see much of a difference between Pittsburgh and Cleveland to tell you them. And then you got to go all the way down to Baltimore at 18-1, and I think that is I don't see a big difference between Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. So why would I take Baltimore at 18-1 when I can get Cleveland and Pittsburgh at 35 and 50? That's just the way I would be. But as far as a long shot playoff sleeper, somebody that was, in this category, in this area here, 60s, 80s, 100s. Give me a playoff sleeper, Jeff. One of these long shots.
Washington, I kind of like what Washington has, but I don't trust it. I'll go. Rashad was just talking about the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons interest me there.
Yeah, he took mine. Yeah. Atlanta,
there you go.
Yeah, you gotta keep an eye on Atlanta. I think Arthur Smith and what he has now with Bijan, that's what he wants to run the football, and they did it so well last year. They improved their defense. I think their defense was it was not good. They didn't have a pass rush. Atlanta's gotten better on paper. I think they've probably taken. It's the Panthers we got Bryce, so I think we've probably taken a huge step towards that. But next to us, the Falcons have taken a really big step in improving their roster. I just don't know that I trust. I don't know that I trust Arthur Smith like that. To get away from that run game, it's got to win every week. I don't know if they can do that every single week. So, but if I had to, I think it has to come out the NFC. Personally, I think the Falcons. I would have to say the Falcons, man. Looking at the list, I do agree with the Commanders as well. I think I like what they have, and I know Ron Rivera very, very well. I think he's a really good coach, and I like what they have going. I don't know if they can put it together, but I'll roll with for a playoff sleeper.
Atlanta.
I'll roll with the Falcons.
Okay.
I'll roll with the Falcons. Yep.
And who's going to be your official playoff sleeper then? Just playoff sleeper then, Jeff.
Playoff sleeper. I mean, just based on the odds there, like I think Atlanta. I'll go with that too.
And then Super Bowl sleeper. Are you going with Pittsburgh as a Super Bowl sleeper, Jeff, or you got another team? Anyone over 30 to 1?
I'm gonna go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm gonna say that because I saw them. They did joint practices live in Detroit this year. That's a really good, deep football team. Yeah. And Trevor Lawrence with Calvin Ridley, like.
In a bad division.
There. And Tank Bigsby as their RB2.
Yes.
They got something there. They really do. That their division is ridiculously easy. I'm not sure that any other team in that division was more than 6. Like, they got a shot to get home field, and if they get that, look out, man. There's no reason they can't.
Yeah, I think with Jacksonville, I do like Jacksonville. I think that's a layup there. I think they're going to do very well, like you said, the weak division. But if I'm going to go Super Bowl, I think it's going to be tough to get past the Chiefs, to be honest with you. They've got Mahomes, so the ultimate, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. Wow.
So for me, I think it's got to come out the NFC, right? And for a sleeper Super Bowl, I'm rolling with the Seattle Seahawks. I think they've got, and again, I know they have a tough division. 49ers, I know they got to get past that. It's going to be tough, but if they can slip in as a wild card, they could probably make some noise and maybe surprise some people. I think they're going to be well on their way to having a really good season this year.
Yeah, I just interviewed Corbin Smith, who covers the Seahawks, yesterday, and they are loaded on offense. Their offensive line is even better. As long as they can stay healthy, that is going to be one lethal offense. And the defense has gotten better. They bring Bobby Wagner back. That's going to be huge. If Witherspoon can get healthy right away, you got 2 shutdown potential corners in Witherspoon and the kid from last year, Woolen. If Adams can stay healthy, what a big deal that'll be. And then the defensive line is all new. All 3 new free agent pickups to help improve their run defense. So, yeah. That's a good sleeper. All right, let's get to your picks then. So did you already give us an insight into your picks there, Rashad? Did you say that you're going to go back to the Chiefs to win back-to-back? Is that what you're saying to me?
Man, I don't know, man. That's going to be tough to go back-to-back. I just think they're so difficult to get past. You look at that AFC. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I think I got to go with it, man. I think I got to go with the Chiefs until somebody dethrones them. So I'm gonna, my official pick, if I had the gun held to my head right now, I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, so you're gonna have Kansas City to beat who?
To beat coming out the NFC, I'm gonna go. Man, that is so tough.
Just so you know,
tough,
so my
man.
official pick, so I'll say my official pick. So I've already done these on our show. We had an NFL preview show, as I mentioned. So my official picks, I went Pittsburgh as a Super Bowl sleeper. I went Tampa Bay South as playoff sleeper. I went San Francisco over Dallas.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I went Tampa Bay.
Man. I gotta laugh at that one, dude.
Yeah. And Cincinnati over Buffalo in the AFC, with Cincinnati beating San Francisco. So those are my picks. I've been on Cincinnati for 3 years, and I'm not jumping off of them now. I was on them before everybody else was on them, and I ain't jumping off right now. So, so those are my picks. So Rashad, I know you're not taking Tampa Bay. So who are you taking?
No, definitely not taking for what? For the South or
no,
overall?
I was just saying
what do you mean
for your Super Bowl pick?
Oh yes, yeah. I gotta go Chiefs. Man, it's so tough, bro. I don't want to see a rematch of the Chiefs and Eagles, but I think that the rosters are there, man. They've got the best rosters.
Let's keep in mind the Eagles lost Chiefs. A lot of key veterans. They lost a lot of players. They lost their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator. So that roster is not the same. They still have the star power, but if they have an injury here or there.
I'm gonna go Chiefs, Niners. That's the book it. I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Okay.
Niners.
Kansas City over San Francisco. And then one more to go. Give me your two teams that are losing the championship games. You have Kansas City and San Francisco winning them. Who are the Chiefs and the Niners beating in the championship games, Rashad?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chiefs versus Buffalo.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go Philly versus the Niners.
Got it. Excellent. All right. Now you've had time to think, Jeff. So, championship. Let's start with the championship. So, championship pick. Who is it? AFC, NFC. Who's beating who?
So my final four. I got in the NFC. I'm gonna have the Seahawks beating the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl. And the AFC. And the AFC, I like Seattle. Their offense, you just talked about it.
I love it.
Who's stopping that?
They're not.
They're good. They're
injuries.
Deep, they're
that's
diverse.
It. Yeah.
I don't think people appreciate how good their rookie offensive linemen were last year. They were really, really good. And they're only going to get better the more that they played. And I think defensively they got enough. So I got that. AFC. I hate to be the guy, but like Kansas City and Cincinnati, it's so tough because there are a lot of really good teams in the AFC, but they're, to me, as long as Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are at the front, that's who I'm going with. So I'm going to take Kansas City to get back because I do think now, as long as Chris Jones, I got to put the asterisk up there. If they don't have Chris Jones, I'm taking Cincinnati. But if Chris Jones is back, I'm going to take Kansas City to get back. But
all right, who wins it?
Who wins out of that? To be the man, you got to beat the man, and I'm not sure that Seattle can beat the man in Kansas City. So I'm gonna say that Kansas City is going to get back again.
All right, so there you go, a repeat, which would be what, 3 and 5 years, 3 and 4, 3 and 5.
I can't even keep track.
Yeah, I can't.
My team never makes it, so I don't.
I'm with you. Yeah, you're asking two dudes that got to focus on other teams during the playoffs. We can't even watch our own team, so we don't know.
Imagine
can't keep track of it.
Imagine if we could all get in the same year. That would be awesome. So there you go. Jeff is picking the repeat, the Chiefs. I like the Seattle. That's a nice little gutsy pick there. Atlanta, Jacksonville as sleepers. Playoffs and Super Bowl. Rashad is also going with the Chiefs. So you guys are both taking the Chiefs to repeat. I love it. There you go. And San Francisco as the loser for Rashad. Sleeper Atlanta. Both have Atlanta as the sleeper to get to the playoffs. And the Super Bowl sleeper. See, it's interesting. Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong here, but you had Jacksonville as your Super Bowl sleeper, but you have Seattle winning the Super Bowl. So in theory, you kind of have two Super Bowl sleepers, I would say. Seattle and Jacksonville. So
Yeah, I guess so.
You're gonna put some money on that today.
Seattle
I hope
is that low in the odds. That might be an investment opportunity there.
Don't not do it and see one of those teams in the Super Bowl and complain later. I should have done it. You put $100 on that. That's $3,000, man. It's not a bad investment. I don't know what your wife would say.
I got a senior in high school that's about to go to college.
There you go. I'm not so sure what she would say. So, all right. So that is going to wrap it up. Anything on this week's games before I let you go? Let's just quickly ask you. I want to ask you about your games before I let you go. So, because Detroit Chiefs on Thursday, we'll start there, Jeff. Again, no Chris Jones. That's a big break. No question about that. The line is, I still think it's 6.5, I believe. So, which is showing a lot of respect for Detroit. So that's kind of cool. What do you think? What do you, there it is, 6.5. Lions are 220 on the money line.
I think Detroit will cover.
Okay.
I can't do the money line, but I do think that they're going to cover the 6.5. I think it's going to be close. I think Detroit's going to be ready. I think they are ready for prime time. But it's funny. My Super Bowl is Kansas City and Seattle. Like, that's who the Lions play in the first 2 weeks. We're going to know a lot about Dan Campbell's team right away. I think they're really good. I think they should be expected to win the NFC North. But I don't know if they can get through these first couple games. Like, that's a challenge, man. But they're going to be good. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be fun, exciting. I'm really excited about what Aaron Glenn's defense is going to do this year. I think they were terrible last year. They were literally the worst defense in history through the first 6 weeks. They figured it out until Rashad's Panthers kicked our butts late in the season. But they're a lot better this year. C.J. Gardner-Johnson brings an edge that this defense needed. He brings swagger. He brings attitude. And you're seeing it come out in guys like Kirby Joseph and Derek Barnes. And they're going to be a lot of fun to watch this year on the way to hopefully hosting a playoff game for the first time since 1991. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, look, from an outside perspective, I definitely like the Lions, like you said, with the points. And I would throw a few bucks myself, and I will, on the money line. I think the Lions will have a chance. I really do. Again, I think that win against Green Bay at the end of the season, that was an indication. It was like a primetime game. It meant a lot to one team and even a little bit to Detroit. Hey, maybe. So that was a huge win that's going to make it even easier for them to come out on national TV on Thursday and perform. Especially that even though people are picking them to have a good season, it's still, I don't think there are a lot of people who believe they're going to win the game. So they're still playing kind of with house money. And here's a stat, by the way, that I did get in Mark Lawrence's playbook, which is a great magazine for anybody out there, handicapping magazine. The Kansas City Chiefs were 7-3 last year in one-score games, but they did not cover any of them last year. 0-10 against the spread in one-score games. So that's really not a surprise, in one respect. First of all, that they won 7 out of 10. But it's another reason maybe to go with the Lions. Okay, so Carolina, the Panthers, a little bit easier opponent. 3.5-point dog. I thought the line was fair. Plus 154 on the money line right now. First game for rookie quarterback Bryce Young and Desmond Ridder. First true game for the season to prove that Atlanta does not need a quarterback next year in the draft. NFC South matchup. Rashad, how do these two teams normally fare against each other, and what are you thinking?
Yeah, Atlanta's had our number recently. I think we did split last year. We won our respective home games. So I think, I got to give the edge to Atlanta here. I think it's going to be a lot for Bryce coming out. And Reich typically, his teams typically start slow. So we have 2 NFC South games to open the season. So we too have a very, very tough opening schedule. So I can see us dropping both of those games, but, we kind of make it up on the back end of the schedule. I'm not a betting dude, so I don't really, I don't the spreads and all that. I mean, obviously know how it works, but I'm not going to put any advice. I'm not going to give any public advice on what you should do with your money. I just don't. For me, the Panthers, it's going to be tough to beat Atlanta on the road to open the season. Is it possible? Sure, but I have my doubts.
Well, actually, the lines look like they've been pretty good for Carolina in this matchup. Last year, as you said, they split. But Carolina covered both games. And in 21, when they faced off against each other, they split again, both straight up and against the spread. Let's see, in 20, Carolina, they both split there. So actually, they have been splitting the last few years. Yeah. Carolina covering both though last year, but it's a new team, a new coaching staff, and we'll see how it goes. So again, it's only 3.5. So how about from our perspective, Jeff? We're not a Carolina fan, so I'm gonna. Yeah, I see exactly where Rashad's coming from. If I was taking the game, I'd probably have to go Atlanta.
I would. I'm looking at that over under 39.5. Brian Burns, I expect that he's going to play. I will certainly trust Rashad on that, but I think he's going to play. I'm not sure that the defenses are that good compared to I like what Atlanta's got offensively. I think Carolina has some potential to do some things offensively as well. So
you go with the over? That's your play?
I would, if I were putting anything on this game, I would be betting on the over.
But as far as I would caution against that. I would caution just because Arthur's
that all right.
Yeah, ball control.
Save me some money, my friend.
Yeah, he wants to control the football. Like they really want to play ball control. So I can see. I just don't know. I don't know that I trust Carolina's offense in week 1. I mean, they've been doing some stuff that I've seen in training camp where I'm like, all right, they've been having Chenault come out the backfield. They've been, getting Mingo active. It's been some stuff that I've seen that I have not seen during the preseason that we could light some teams up. I just don't see it. And then that you combine that with Atlanta's improved defensively and they want to control the football. I think it'll be a slow-paced game. I can see and again, I'm not a betting guy. But I don't know that I would go over on that. And it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty low, right? 39 is pretty low. Is that not pretty low on average? Low. Yeah, yep. I don't know. I would stay away completely, personally.
Look, let's see. Here's one now. Let's see.
I will trust you on that. Save me some money. I need it. I like it.
By the way, Victor King from Playbook Sports does a really good job with totals, so maybe he'll have a thought on the game. I have no idea, but that's on the Playbook Sports channel, the Playbook Experts channel, YouTube channel. That's a show that comes out every Wednesday with Mark Lawrence, and of course Mark does the college football shows with me each week, and we'll have a show again on Thursday this week. That is going to wrap it up. So guys, I appreciate it on our first OFN Live Insider show. We'll have to definitely do this again sometime, within the next few weeks or so, for sure. Guys, I appreciate it. Have a great season. Jeff, first, we'll talk again sometime soon with those Detroit Lions. They're having a little bit more expectations than Rashad's Carolina Panthers this year. But taking a look at the way that the scheduling goes, maybe we'll get a chance to talk. I mean, the Green Bay week might be a good week to talk, because the schedule is really not all that bad, to tell you the truth, after the first couple of weeks. There are some winnable matchups for the Lions. Yep. They've got that Baltimore game, though, in late October. But maybe we'll talk before the Green Bay game. Maybe that'd be a good opportunity for us to talk. And Rashad, hopefully Carolina gets off to a good start. You know what I'm actually thinking about is maybe we could do this. Is maybe we get you guys together for your matchup in October. That wouldn't be bad, right?
We play what, week 5, right?
Is that what it is? Week 5, Rashad?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we do that.
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Maybe we'll get you guys together again, and just for that, not one of these live shows, but just a short, condensed kind of preview of the game. So, guys, I appreciate it. Again, check out both of their channels. I'm going to have a link in the description area. We always do that so everybody can follow through. You can also, of course, just check out the latest interviews I did with both of these guys, which happened within the last month on our channel. And then there's all sorts of links there of how to connect with them. But it's easy. Detroit Lions podcast on YouTube, and of course the Panther Nation podcast on YouTube as well. So guys, appreciate it, and look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
Thanks so much for having us, man.
I got you.
It's good.
Thanks.